A lot of these girls don't think that we're intelligent enough to know, but like, there's no guy spending money on a flight, money on a hotel, money on food for you, because Colombian women aren't splitting nothing. You know, you're paying for everything if you taking them somewhere. Paying for you to go to Machu Picchu, paying for lodging and food there, then paying for stuff to get back and all that if they ain't hitting.
Hey, Jamie Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story real quick. So it was a girl I met before I went to Peru last month, because I was in Peru for a whole month, just checking that out as another potential option to see how things are there, just in case for some reason if Colombia didn't ever work out, I can dip over to Peru. It's right next door, food's amazing, whatever. So I was talking to this girl and I told her like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be leaving for a month, I'm going to Peru. And she was like, oh, what a dream to go to Peru to like see Machu Picchu and stuff like that. And she speaks English, and it's unfortunate too, but most of the girls that speak English, they're learning English to leverage it for dating, not so much just for, you know, I want to be smarter and be able to like have more opportunities. There's more opportunities, but more opportunities with dating, which may get them out of the country. But anyway, so she was like, oh, and I showed her all these places that I wanted to go when I went to Peru. And she's like, oh, it's really beautiful. Not even a week after I landed in Peru, I see her stories. She's in Peru. She's in Lima. And I was like, oh, you're in Lima. I was like, she's like, oh, I was, but now, you know, I'm going to Cusco, and Cusco is where Machu Picchu is. So I asked her in Spanish, not in English, because she speaks both, because I wanted to know, because in Spanish, you have the masculine and the feminine. So there's amigos and there's amigas or amigo and amiga. So I asked her in Spanish, and I was like, who did you come here with? And she's like, amigo. And I was like, okay, there is no guy. And it's like a lot of these girls don't think that we're intelligent enough to know, but like, there's no guy spending money on a flight, money on a hotel, money on food for you, because Colombian women aren't splitting nothing. You know, you're paying for everything if you taking them somewhere. Paying for you to go to Machu Picchu, paying for lodging and food there, then paying for stuff to get back and all that if they ain't hitting, you know. So like I said, a lot of girls will hold themselves out for vacations, which you'll see, you know, if you look at their Instagram stories, the ones who are in Spain and Italy and France seems to have the biggest amount of simps, because almost every Colombian girl I know or I've met, they got a fucking picture next to the Eiffel Tower.
Brazilian women too.
But you know, so it was not even a week later, she was already in Peru. So she was already talking to somebody, you know, that was going to end up going to Peru or whatever, that flew out there or came out there with her, whatever. So what I'm saying is that, you know, a lot of girls are entertaining multiple guys. And one thing that really does suck about Colombia is the #2 country with the most amount of cheating. And that's on both sides. The girls, I would say, is more on the men's side, but it's men and women. So it's another part that makes dating very challenging here. Another thing that I've talked about on my YouTube channel and my videos is that if you are not the type of guy that is interested in dating women with children, Colombia may not be the country for you, because there is about 80% of the women here are single mothers. It sounds like an absurd statistic, but you will see it once you get here. Almost every other girl you meet has kids. And a big part of that is abortion wasn't legal until about a couple years ago here. Also, too, you could just say poor sex education. On top of that, it's the religious factor as well. A lot of women just don't believe in it, you know, having abortions. And then on top of it, you add in the freaky factor. When I first started dating here, I noticed that hardly any women, when I would go to Smash, they were not asking, yeah, you got a condom? You tienes condones? Like nothing. Like it was just, if you wanted to hit raw, go ahead. You know,
man.
So you add all these factors up and you can see, okay, this is why, you know, so many women here have are single mothers. And then the biggest thing that I would add to it, from what I've seen in my experience, is that a lot of women here grow up in a single mother household. There is no two parent, because usually the dads cheat, they leave, or they cheat, the mom kicks them out, whatever. So the women, they end up growing in a one-parent household. So they don't have that stable father figure, which is going to go into another kind of topic that I was going to say with dating here, is that it also just makes a lot of women here not the greatest when it comes to dating, because they just never had that father figure, or at least stable father figure. Some have, most haven't. But, without that, they're not really learning all the things that the important things that they were learned from a father. So those are some of the big things I would say about dating here. Like, going back to what I said, there's a lot of good women here. In Medellin, it's harder. It'll take you longer, definitely, if you're a man of standards and boundaries. And Medellin is, and I've had this conversation with my boy. Medellin is full of what I like to call hypothetical options. And what I mean by that is you're going to see a ton of women here that you're going to be like, damn, I could be dating her. I could be dating her. Damn, she fine. I could be dating her. But in reality, you may not even been an option for them. One, just because the majority of Pisces prefer Pisces. They rather date and deal with people that look like them, know their culture, speak the same language. That's not going to be like, hey, 50-50, or that's not going to come here with the red pill mentality like a lot of guys have in the States. As well, it's just something that's familiar. But as well, aside from that, when it comes to foreigners, it's like, or let's say this, the girls who are not, who are normal, who are really, really good looking, that are 8, 9s, and 10s, more than likely you and I or other foreigners, we just aren't ever going to end up in their social circles, because these girls aren't just walking around like they are on the streets. Like, a lot of people will see the videos that you put from like 𝐦𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 in your first few seconds of the video. They'll see those Paisa women and be like, that's all of Colombia. That's all of Medellin. And it's like, the reality is, no, it's not. And then those girls, usually when they're out, the way things work here in Colombia is that most people go out in mixed groups. Girls are usually going out with guys. Now, it doesn't mean the guys in that group are their boyfriends, but you don't know. And it's not a normal thing here to just walk up to a mixed group and be like trying to start raising up a girl that you don't know. That's not normal here. You can try to go and talk to one of the guys and get cool with them and see maybe if one of them, is their girlfriend or whatever. But generally, most people go out in their groups. They go to their little tables and they stay at their tables. Maybe if it's more of a dancing club, they'll go dance, like maybe dance with someone else. But generally, they stay in their little groups. You'll see this if you go to like 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞. If you go to 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐾𝐿, they're not so much. Like, that's a normal club. But generally, that's the social scene here. So it's hard to find those like 9s and 10s. And usually when you do, they come with a lot of expectations. Just a quick story real quick. I wish I could throw up the picture of this girl, because this girl is so bad. She was a doctor, Paisa, blue eyes, like pretty. One of the girls that you see typically that are on IG or something like that, that are, the papasito videos. Oh, we don't say in Colombia, we don't say daddy.
I know who you're talking about. That one girl that always be seeing that shit.
And even a side note on that, like, here, I've been living here 2 years. And I maybe heard papasito twice, maybe 3 times. Like, they're not running around just saying that shit like it's a normal thing. Like, they hardly ever say it. But girls like that are usually just trying to market their OnlyFans. That's why they're making those type of videos. But getting back to what I was saying, this girl is super fine. And I was pulling out all the stops, doing more than what I would normally do. Like, normally I'd be like, yeah, let's go for ice cream or a coffee for a first date. Now with her, I was like straight up to a nice restaurant, do the dinner. And this girl's expectation was that we were going to go out to eat at a fancy restaurant here in Medellin. And granted, it's not as much as it is in the States, but it's just not normal, like 2 to 3 times a week. And then on top of that, on the weekend, that we were going to go out to a club and then get bottle service. Now, she ain't paying for shit. So for her, it don't matter how much the stuff costs for her. She just that's the lifestyle she wants. Unfortunately for her, I'm not trying to live. One, I don't live that type of lifestyle. I don't go out like that. But also as well as like, I'm just not trying to finance that. I'd rather be spending that money doing something else. But this was her thing. And then I'm like, you know, oh, I like to chill at home, have a home cooked meal. She doesn't cook. And it's surprisingly, a lot of women here in Colombia don't know how to cook. And, you know, a lot of guys try to advertise like, oh, all the women here, they cook, they clean, they're submissive, they do this, they do that. There's a lot of them who don't, you know, and this is the biggest problem with just in general with dating, but it's here as well. It's very prevalent in here in Medellin in Colombia, is that a lot of these girls spend a lot of time on social media. They live on Instagram. These girls will carry around chargers because their phones are dying from them being on their phone all day. So they're constantly seeing other pretty Colombian women, because most of them usually follow women that they want to look like or want to be like. They see these other girls getting flown out places, eating out almost every, 2-3 times a week, living this lifestyle that they may want. So they feel like, okay, I want to live that same lifestyle. And obviously this is what's corrupting them. And they're like, all right, well, I want this lifestyle. So they're trying to find a guy who's going to give them that same lifestyle, or they're just going to do the Build-A-Bear thing and use different guys for different things. This guy will fly me out here. This guy will give me some money each month. This guy will do this. This guy will do that, and that's the reality of it. And like I said, it's not all, but I think the best places for dating are going to be these smaller towns like Monteria, Manizales. Even some of those are still kind of getting, the girls are still getting hit up online because they're all on Instagram, advertising themselves, marketing. But it's one of the things that does suck about just dating in general. And I'm pretty sure this is all over the world, but it's still here in Colombia as well.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Everything you just said was straight fire, bro. I was just like, damn, where the popcorn at, man? You know what I mean? You were just saying a bunch of great stuff. But a point I want to hit that I thought is fascinating. And I say fascinating because it fascinates me how stupid certain people can be. And I mean that, I don't mean that in an offensive way. I know that came off offensively. I mean it in a tough love type of way for any of my people that are watching this right now, from my audience. But I know several different guys at the moment, specifically in Colombia, that they're talking to a girl that they've never met. They met the girl on Tinder, and they're sending her money every day, every other day for stupid stuff. And I'm like, bro, do not ever, ever, ever give a girl you don't even know like that, that's not even your girlfriend, money. Never do that. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it'll start off little. They'll probably ask you maybe $5, $10, $20. Oh, I need an Uber, or I need some food. I haven't eaten. My fridge is empty. You'll give them a little something, something. Next thing you know, the next one's 50, then 100, then it keeps going up. Next thing you know, you're paying for their rent.